Today's video is from a question I get from a lot of people in the DMs. And, I get a lot of people asking me about my opinion on their relationships, and a lot of people sharing with me the kind of relationships they have with their partners, with their spouses. And the funny thing also, people in marriages, they share with me some of the things and concerns they have, and they're like, what should I do? Where should I go from here? Should I leave? Should I stay? My view of relationships is not always the way everyone looks at relationships. And I believe it's because of, my walk with Christ and what he has taught me. As you all know, I'm not married yet. I don't have children yet. But I do believe, not because I do not have these things, it doesn't mean that I don't know about these things. I believe wisdom comes from above. As I always say, you don't have to learn from your mistakes, but you can learn from other people's mistakes, and you can apply some of the things they maybe assumed before they knew better, and some of the things they've shared in the name of helping other people to grow in relationships and to have healthier relationships. As I get into this video, I'm going to I'll just start off on, what a basic healthy relationship looks like. Because a lot of times I get that question, I deal with young people and youth, and most of them, they are in relationships, others entanglements, others situationships, others they're in ships. They have no idea where they are going, if they are sinking, they are floating, they are going to the north, to the east, they are just in something, but they do not know what it is. So I decided to start off by having a basic, rundown of what I believe to be a healthy relationship, and just to encourage you and just to share my perspective. Because I believe relationships are very important. Someday I'll be a wife, I'll be a mother, and I do believe I'd want to be in a healthy relationship. I'd want to be in a thriving relationship. I'd want to be in a relationship that is wholesome. It grows me, and I also grow my partner, and it also challenges me to become a better me, because I believe the Lord allows us to get into relationship so that we can also see ourselves in the other person, and to also have someone who can actually see your blind spots, especially when you're not able to see everything about you. Because sometimes we think we are perfect, but we are not. And your partner can see the things about you that you don't pay attention to. And I believe relationships are very important. And I say this, I'd rather you take your time to get into a relationship than get into something too soon and too quick for that thing to crumble in a very short time. It's better to take your time. So no pressure in, the biological clock. We'll have a video talking about that. It's something that irritates me. But anyway, the grace is sufficient. We're not going to get mad or agitated. But I'm going to have a conversation of that one. But today I just want to speak about, the basic things that, I consider to be a healthy relationship, and what I believe a healthy relationship should be like. I do believe people can work around, the challenges in their relationships. They can work around their differences, and they can grow. And if their relationship is not as healthy, they can always work together to make it a healthier relationship. So there's hope, there's restoration that can happen. And I believe all of us, we have some good in us. As much as we have some good, we also have some bad in us. So it depends with what we feed on the most. So let me get into this video. One of the most important things I've come to learn is, for a relationship to be healthy, there has to be authentic communication. And what am I trying to say? A lot of times people struggle to communicate to their partner, and they struggle to be honest with how they feel, how they think, and how they're looking at things. Because sometimes the fear is, if I'm authentic, they might leave, they might not want to deal with me. So sometimes you find people not being honest about how they feel about the relationship. And sometimes they don't want to even ask the questions they want to ask in regards to, the state of the relationship and where the relationship is heading to, because they have the fear of this person is going to walk away. And I do believe, even the Bible talks about, where there's love, there is no fear. So I do believe if you're in a healthy relationship, you should be able to communicate to your partner without having to feel that you need to filter what you're saying and what you're thinking, because you're afraid they'll leave. If you're afraid they'll leave, then probably you shouldn't be in that space. So I believe authentic communication is important. And I believe it also helps in terms of, I know where your mind is at. I know how we are. I know what state we are in, other than we're just there. There's nothing as bad as being there in a relationship. You don't know whether you're going to the right or you're going to the left. You don't know whether you're sinking or you're floating. You don't know whether you're going up or you're going down. You don't know whether this is something that is going to be there for the next few years, or it's going to lead to a commitment, or you're just there to, enjoy each other's time before the other person finds another person. So I believe authentic communication is important, and also getting to a place where you understand your partner should not be anxious about the state of the relationship. They shouldn't be living thinking at any given time this is going to end, because there's no clarity. It's all confusion. There's no a clear direction of where they're going. There is no future plan together. There are just a lot of things, and I call them gaps. There's so many gaps in the relationship that need to be addressed. But then again, the fear of this other person walking away makes you not address the issues that need to be addressed. But I say this, any unaddressed issue that you ignore in the early stages of a relationship, those are the things which become a huge and a big problem later on, either in your marriage or in your relationship. So if you're ignoring the most important things, then again, your relationship is just but a time bomb waiting to explode. It's like a grenade. You've shot that capin and you're holding it. The moment you just let go like this, boom, everything capiche. I believe authentic communication should be paramount and important from the beginning. Be straightforward with each other. I think people need to become more intentional with what they want from each other, instead of wasting each other's time in the name of, I'm just seeing where this is going. And I believe when you know who you are in Christ, then again, there are things you won't entertain. If there's no clarity, you're not about confusion. The Lord is not about confusion. You'll be like, you know what? Thank you for everything, but hey, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to stoop to this level of confusion and feeling like I don't even know where we are going and where we stand. I'm not going to do that. So you take your leave and you let them do what they need to do. That is not for anyone. I wouldn't advise anyone to stay in a situation where they're confused about what the state of that situation is. So apply wisdom. Something else I find to be very important is having healthy boundaries. I believe all of us, even as you come to a relationship, you are an individual. So being an individual means you have things you're passionate about and things you love to do that necessarily your partner doesn't maybe like to do. So at the end of it all, giving each other space and time and boundaries of, I still pursue my passions. I still do the things I love to do. And you get to also do the things you love to do that maybe I don't even like to do. And I believe it's important to get to a place of understanding. You are together, yes, you are one, but then again, you're also individuals. So work on yourself, work on your growth, work on your mindset so that you become a healthier you. So as you're one, you're also feeding each other from a place of wholeness, not a place of codependency. So don't lose the things that make you you and the things that fulfill you because of the relationship. Something else I've come to find to be part of the problem, especially in failing relationships and straining relationships and struggling relationships, of course, is the intention when it comes to listening to hear. It's one thing to listen to someone. Right now, you could be listening to me, but are you hearing what I'm saying? So you're listening because you're using your ears. You're hearing what I'm saying. Like literally, you can hear my voice. But then again, are you internalizing what I'm trying to say? I believe a lot of relationships are struggling because sometimes you try to communicate, but the other person is not really hearing you. So they're listening to what you're saying, but they're not really hearing your perspective. And I believe hearing comes from a place of, I want to put myself in your shoes to look at this thing or to hear what you're telling me from the way you're hearing it. I want to understand where you're coming from. I want to understand what you mean. So it's important to listen to your partner and to hear what they're trying to say and communicate. Sometimes I feel like a lot of times the issue comes in when you're trying to communicate a problem or an issue or something which is not okay in the relationship, but your partner chooses not to hear what you're saying. So they choose to they're listening, they're like, hey, I've heard you. But the reality is they don't hear what you're trying to, to talk about. They're not hearing what you're trying to confront. They're not hearing what you're trying to communicate. So they're listening, but they don't hear what you're trying to say. Learn to hear your partner. It's not easy. Not all of us, we are hearers. But I believe if you love someone, you love them enough to want to understand where they're coming from. You'd want to understand where their heart is at, their mind is at, and you'd want to help them feel like they're being heard. Because when you hear them, and if they're asking you for something, that means you're going to change maybe a few things to accommodate what they're saying, or you find a way where all of you can be on the same page And, if one of you needs to compromise on something, you'll be able to get to that place so that you can save the relationship. Something else I've come to realize, a lot of people in the dating phase, when the love is mwaki mwaki, moto moto ndo imeanza, there is a lot of, intentionality in terms of planning dates and, spending time together. But it's like once you've gotten into the relationship and you have this person, then all of that fades away. So my take is you should never stop dating each other. You should never stop trying to win the attention of your partner. You should never stop doing that, because the moment you become so accustomed to them, it means you've stopped seeing the value or their worth the way you saw it initially. Right now, you're looking at them from a place of you're mine, so why should I do anything about, trying to keep you and to impress you and all of that. I believe we should always try to do something nice and special for our partners and try to make that, to just rekindle the fire of love. Let us not get bored, being with the person we are with because we don't want to do any work. And that is why you're easily swayed by other people you meet outside and you get excited because there's nothing you're doing where you at. So my take is be intentional with dating your partner even after you've gotten them. So something else I think I'm going to talk about as I wind up this video is getting to a place where you seek help in terms of growing together. And when I say seek help, I don't mean that you have to go to a therapist, so which some people need to go to see a therapist together because they have maybe trauma and other childhood wounds they need to have sorted out, and they need to go through some healing, and maybe that will work for them. But I do believe sometimes being intentional with growing your relationship, having the hard conversations, and seeking help from maybe people who've walked the walk and they're in thriving and healthy relationships, and just getting wisdom of how to make it work. And just in case you're having a struggle in a particular area of your relationship, bringing in people who can help shed some light and help you overcome that hurdle. I believe that is very important. Instead of ignoring things, being intentional with this relationship, how do we grow together? Because I believe some of the things which have ended relationship is you get to a place where you stopped growing together. So one person became, reluctant to do anything in the name of growing that relationship. And I mean, spiritually is very important. Emotionally is also important. Physically, I don't know whether it's important. Sometimes mwili ubadilika and all of that, but it's good to pursue health and wellness, for both of you. But what I'm trying to say is you need to get to a place where you don't stop growing and you make an intentional decision to not stop growing. Meaning, if you want to water your relationship, what are the things you watch together? Not all the time you're watching movies, but then again, do you watch content that brings you closer together and helps you navigate the hurdles and the challenges that come with relationships and family and all of that? I believe that is very important. And also, who are the people you look up to in terms of, who inspire you in your relationship? What are their values? What do they stand for? What are they supporting? What are they pushing? What are they promoting? What are their values? What are their core values? Core values are very important. Are they people of integrity and honesty? Or are they just people who have some weird behaviors and, manyoka hapa kule? I feel like that is very important. So I'd say being able to have role models who help you in your navigation, in terms of, the hurdles and the relationship issues which might come up, and also feeding on content to just bring more knowledge and wisdom on how you can navigate some challenges before they happen, and also how you can help build a stronger relationship that can stand the test of time. I think that's very important. So I'll end this video here, but of course we'll keep on talking about, relationships. I'm passionate about this area of things because I'm looking forward to just getting into that season where, I'll be a wife, I'll be a mother, and I'll be able to share, some of the things I learned in my marriage, and just share from a place of, this is the experience. But for now, I've learned from people who've gone before me, and I've learned from my situationships, my two relationships, my two mistakes, my foolishness and my ignorance. I've learned from that. So I'd want to share and shed some light where I can. But then again, let God be the center of your relationship. But I'll end this here. We'll keep on having more conversations in regards to relationships. Let's converse in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.